Hello, welcome to News Centre. I'm Parikshit Luthra. 2023 was a strong year for the defence industry, with the government approving procurement of defence equipment worth 3.5 lakh crore. Defence PSUs have been rallying in trade in 2023, and their shipbuilding companies Mazagon Dock, Cochin Shipyard and Garden Reach Shipbuilders have seen a multifold growth in their market capitalisation. Mazagon Dock has been a top performer, with its stock rising 180% last year. The government owns an 84.8% stake in MDL. The company recently received an order for 6 next-generation offshore patrol vessels for the Indian Coast Guard at a cost of 1,615 crore rupees. The company also received an order for 3 multi-purpose hybrid-powered vessels for $42 million. The shipbuilding company also received a contract for medium refit cum life certification for INS Shankush submarine for over 2,600 crore rupees. There have also been reports that the government is considering selling a 10% stake in Mazagon Dock Ltd via OFS route by March this year. Joining us now to talk about the growth of this shipbuilding PSU, future growth areas and need for capital is the company's chairman and Managing Director, Sanjeev Singhal. Mr. Singhal, thank you very much for joining us on the program. Let me begin by asking you, what does the current order book look like? And in FY25, what will be the major growth drivers for the shipbuilding company?
First of all, good afternoon and a very, very happy new year to all the viewers. As far as the Mazagon Dock Shipbuilders is concerned, I think the performance-wise details and the order details have already been spelled out by you. And as far as the next financial year is concerned, FY25, we are pretty confident with respect to the growth, considering the fresh orders which have been added till December of this financial year. We have added fresh orders of approximately 6,000 crores, and going ahead during this financial year itself, we expect further accretion to this order book. In case the additional submarines are also getting finalized before 31st of March, this would be a significant boost. Otherwise, also we expect this would be finalized by early next year. So the submarines, 3 additional submarines would be there, and considering the order book, which we expect at around 34,000, 35,000 crores as of 31st of March 24, we are confident that going ahead, the revenue booking should be pretty decent.
Right. You said that you may receive an order for 3 new submarines in the coming few months. How would that add to your order book in terms of in terms of contract terms, volume terms, and value terms?
As far as the volume is concerned, right now we are having 2 MRLCs which are under refit, and 1 last submarine of the project Scorpion with us. So we have 3 submarines. We have capability of building 11 submarines simultaneously. So these 3 submarines, when received, it will be taking our order book with respect to submarines to 6 submarines, out of which 2 we are targeting for delivery this year itself, 1 MRLC and the 6th submarine of the Scorpion project. So this would leave us with 4 submarines available as by the end of this calendar year. In terms of value, right, I would not be able to comment with respect to the 3 additional submarines. Right now, it is under discussion. We have already submitted our bid to the Indian Navy. So the bid is yet to be opened. So once the bid is opened, then what negotiations takes place and what is the final price, it would be difficult to discuss anything about it right now.
Right. Could you give us a guidance on the kind of capital requirement for Mazagon Dock in FY25?
We are targeting a capex of around 300 crores, which is primarily a maintenance capex, because as far as the submarines is concerned, submarines we don't require any kind of a capacity addition immediately. With respect to shipbuilding, also considering the orders which we have received and which we expect to finalize in near term, we would be having around 21 vessels in addition to Project 17 Alpha, 4 vessels. So this would take us to 25 vessels, which are to be delivered over a period of 3 years. So this would be sequential, but at the same time, certain capacity addition may be required at our Nava shipyard, which we would be taking up in a phased manner. So already the hard stand proposal is there, and we are going to construct hard stands where the ships can be constructed. The floating dry dock, we have already placed the order for 500 crores this financial year in the month of June. So that is also under construction. In addition, certain workshops may be required. So it would depend as the things pan out. In case it is required, we would ramp up the capex.
Right. I would also like to ask you about the reports of divestment. There are reports that Mazagon Dock Ltd may sell a 10% stake by end of FY24. The government may use this OFS route to divest this 10% stake. Could you give us a sense of where things stand?
Right now, I can only say that these remain speculation as far as the government stakes are concerned, which is around 84.83%. So DIPAM is the right nodal agency for taking decisions with respect to disinvestment in consultation with the administrative ministry of the PSU, which in our case is the defense ministry. So DIPAM in discussion with defense ministry would be taking a decision with respect to the appropriate time when and the quantum of the disinvestment and the timing of the disinvestment. So we would not be able to speculate on this or throw much light on this.
But do you think any movement is expected within this fiscal?
Things can happen. We have been interacting with the investors. So depending upon what kind of timelines DIPAM is targeting, DIPAM can take a call on this.
Right. I would also like to ask you about what the Defense Secretary said very recently to CNBC-TV18. He said that we are assessing the capital needs of our defense PSUs, and if need be, divestment can be explored as an option. Do you feel that companies like Mazagon Dock Ltd, the shipbuilding PSU, it has seen very strong growth in the stock over the last 1 year or so? Do you think the future capital needs, infrastructure needs of the company would require a divestment? Do you think that that route is needed?
I would like to clarify, as far as the divestment is concerned, the divestment proceeds would be going to the government. They would not be coming to the company per se. So in case we have a capex requirement, we have to go for a issue of fresh capital. Right now, for the next at least 2 years, I don't see such requirements, considering that the cash balance available with Mazagon Dock shipbuilders and our capex plans. At least for next 2 years, I don't see any requirements to raise capital from the market for our capex requirements.
Right. In terms of joint ventures, this is again something that the Defense Secretary had pointed out, that he hopes that defense PSUs will have joint ventures with the private sector on new and emerging technologies for maritime security, for land security, weapon systems as well. What is your view on having joint ventures? Are there areas where you are looking at collaborations with the private sector or with some foreign companies?
Right now, we are exploring joint ventures with foreign companies for export purposes and for setting up shipyards outside India. However, we are also open for joint ventures within the country. We have been partnering in a different manner, not through joint venture, but we have been partnering with the private sector and for quite some time now. For the past 3 years, we have been engaging with the private sector, particularly with respect to the areas of emerging technologies. In case any investments are required or to proceed ahead, if a JV route is preferred or is considered to be more conducive, then that also would be considered by MDL.
Right. Now to ask you about how MDL is benefiting with the collaboration with the orders from the US Navy for ship repairs. Now, this was an agreement that was signed during the Prime Minister's visit to the United States. How is the company likely to benefit from this? Have the first orders for ship repairs started coming in?
Master Ship Repair Agreement. This is an agreement whereby the US naval ships can come for repair and overhauling and servicing to the Indian shipyard. So only 2 of the shipyards in India have been shortlisted, and this MSRA has been signed Mazagon Dock Shipbuilders is one of the shipyards. However, as far as the order is concerned, it is on a competitive basis. So till date, no order has been floated or placed on Mazagon Dock Shipbuilders. We are also yet to see how the opportunity pans out. We expect these requirements would be there in future. At what pace it grows, this is still to be, it is still uncertain. But once the requirements start flowing in, MDL would be participating on a competitive basis, and we expect some orders would definitely flow to MDL also.
Right. Now, in terms of future growth drivers, for the next 5 to 10 years, what do you think will drive the growth for Mazagon Dock Limited? And the reason why I ask you that, because the Defence Secretary told us that he is expecting, or at least hoping, for a 7.5% increase in the capital budget within the defence budget. Yes, they see a very strong role for defence PSUs in terms of legacy platforms, but they see a role for the private sector, and at least 40% of the orders going to the private sector in the defence industry. So how do you see this roadmap of the government coming in?
Primarily, we feel confident that as far as MDL growth is concerned, primarily it will be from the war platforms, naval platforms, and export would definitely be a focus area. We would also be focusing on repair and refits as well as on commercial vessels. So these are primarily for diversification purposes. So maybe a small portion of revenues would be accruing from these sectors also. But the primary sector would continue to be warship building and submarine building. Amongst these, as far as the exports are concerned, we are targeting almost many countries, including Sri Lanka, South America, Brazil. There have been positive feelers and signals from these countries. They are yet to materialize. So as and when any opportunities are there where MDL can pitch in, and which is mutually beneficial to both, we will be definitely capitalizing on such opportunities. Apart from this, repair and refits vertical is also one area which is being targeted by way of development of our Nava shipyard. And we expect with the MSRA in place and with the MDL foraying into this, some part of our revenues will be accruing from this sector also. Apart from this, we are also into emerging technologies, which include unmanned vessels, which include swarm drones, which include solar-powered vessels, which include hydrogen fuel cell-based vessels. And also under R&D, we are progressing ahead with building our own small submarine, which we call a midget submarine, which has a capacity of carrying 6 passengers. And based on the success of this model, we would be foraying into developing a full-fledged submarine for the Indian Navy. So these are certain plans which are on the horizon, and some of them we are already working on. So with time, we expect success in majority of these programs. And these with time can also be a source of additional revenue.
All right, Mr. Singhal, thank you so much for joining us, giving us your view on the future growth drivers for Mazagon Dock Limited, a very important defence PSU in our ecosystem. We're taking a short break here on News Centre, but don't go anywhere. India and UAE signed 4 key MOUs at the Vibrant Gujarat Summit. A discussion on the two nations deepening their partnership on the other side with former Ambassador Anil Trigunath, an expert on the Middle East.